Oh, hey. You know those transfer games on Roblox? You know, the kinds where you have to survive as long as possible while defending yourself against monsters? Well, like, is sort of a dying trend, and some may say it even is a dead trend. But I have found the game that has started the whole trend. The game that, to many people, just is just one of the weirdest games in existence. The game that everyone just looks on with a shudder when they hear the name. Okay? It is a very weird game, okay? It is one of the weirdest games ever made. And it is a 2018 video game called Changed. Now, we are going to talk about Changed in just a minute because first we need to get up to date on what exactly the transfer infection trend is. So, let's get up to that. Let's get to that. The history of the trend can be traced back to 2020 when some games under the name Transfer Infection were taken down by Dragonsnow, the creator of Changed. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any proof of this since, I can't really find the videos that explain that, so you're gonna have to take my word for it. I don't know much about it since I can't find the video, but all I know is that the channel who made it is Kaneko Kitten. But even if I look through his videos, I still can't find the video. Maybe it was taken down. If you want to help me with that, go ahead if you want. It is the 19th of March 2022 right now, and I literally just got sent a link to the video that I was talking about that was taken down. So anyway, here's the clip.
The actual developer of Changed noticed these games on Roblox recently, primarily because people were spamming the link of Flamingo's video to the developer of Changed, and he noticed that people were not actually crediting the creator at all. His name is known as Dragonsnow. He is the producer and developer of Changed, the actual game on Steam. This resulted in Transformation being taken down temporarily, and as of right now, the game is currently back up.
It's pretty interesting. I'll link the video down in the description below so you guys can check it out yourselves. But anyway, these games were pretty popular in the middle of 2020, but by early 2021, they faded into obscurity. Nowadays, there's only two of them left that still have quite a bit of people playing them, Kaiju Paradise and Infectious Smile, with Infectious Smile being the most popular with over 5,000 people playing at the time of this recording. Both of these games have a fair amount of differences that we'll get over. The obvious difference is that Kaiju Paradise is quote-unquote infected are, the classic furries that we usually see in these types of games. However, in Infectious Smile, the quote-unquote infected are the people with the winning smile face. There are other differences that I won't go over in this video because, this video is already very long as it is. So let's just take a moment to talk about the differences between the transfer games and the actual game. Firstly, the setting. Kaiju Paradise takes place in some sort of laboratory with a giant cave of crystals that can turn you into a furry faster than you can say oh shit. And Infectious Smile takes place in a mountain of sorts, because it looks to be underground and the walls are pretty walky, and when the seismic activity builds up enough, it collapses, which, if you don't get to a safe zone, it kills you basically. Now, Changed is different in terms of setting. It takes place in an abandoned facility that looks to be a laboratory. It's a bit similar to Kaiju Paradise. However, Kaiju Paradise and Infectious Smile don't give any insight on how you got there in the first place, but Changed does, because, it actually has a backstory, while the other games don't. All it is just, hey, beat the motherfucking furries up, kill them. Kill those sons of bitches. That's all the transfer games are. They don't need storylines. But anyway, Changed takes place in a world that has been destroyed by a virus, basically. Now, I know what you're thinking, and no, it was not coronavirus, because, this game was made 2 years before COVID actually existed. And 2, if you actually think that, you are literally brain dead. Alright, moving on to the second part, or the live action segment. So that's cool, I guess, but now we are leading into the second part of this video. I'm going to talk about what exactly Changed is. Now, I don't want to spend too much time on this live action segment, so leave it at, watch the video, enjoy it. and have some popcorn or something. Enjoy. So, what exactly is Changed? Well, Changed is a 2018 video game that, so far, has only been released on Steam. It is well known for its difficulty and its weird fetish obsession with transformation. To a lot of people, this is the Furry game. The game is centered around escaping the facility while avoiding monsters that can also turn you into a furry, but this time, getting transferred is game over. The game is really well known for the developers throwing a harsh difficulty curve, for example, the first hallway versus the cat room. However, there are some parts where it starts off easy and gets harder, like Black Goo Zone, where the first room has non-moving monsters and gradually gets harder with monsters moving in a pattern. The mechanics of the game is pretty interesting to say the least, since every room is different from each other, but that doesn't excuse the fact that this is a furry game. But enough talking about what the game is, let's talk about what the game is about. Changed is set in a post-apocalyptic world that has been destroyed by a virus. Apparently, the story behind this is a bit strange to say the least. So, a couple of scientists were researching in Antarctica or something when suddenly they unknowingly found a highly contagious virus that began to rapidly spread like wildfire. Soon after, a ton of the population was infected by this plague, and scientists noticed it when the first person died. They immediately began a search for a vaccine. They found that animals were immune to the virus, so they initially started with them, but that didn't really get them anywhere. But they discovered that if a human was covered in latex, they would be immune. They started experiments on latex and created latex creatures that were fully immune to the virus. They planned to release the vaccine to rich people only, and a lot of people got really pissed about that, so they rioted against the facility where the latex creatures were being experimented and accidentally caused something worse than a virus. Some dumbass accidentally knocked over a failed latex serum and his brain got infected and turned into a latex monster. Fucking idiot. Soon after, he spreaded it to the crowd, and not even 5 seconds later, and everyone, and I mean everyone, in the crowd was a latex monster. Many others ran but either got infected or succumbed to the virus. One scientist by the name of Dr. K, by the way, I have no fucking idea what the K stands for. Maybe it stands for kindergartner or something. Managed to produce a working serum that turned him into a latex creature, but kept his memories and didn't have the instincts to infect literally every single fucking human alive. And after all this outbreak shit that I don't really have time to explain, the facility has basically become the hive of the furries. 5 years later, due to a power outage, you emerge from a capsule and now you have to escape the facility without getting transferred. The game is notorious for being a very difficult game. It's so hard that some people might have broken their computer out of rage. Some say it's harder than Cuphead, and that's saying a lot since Cuphead is easily one of the hardest games I've ever played in my whole life. But you don't want to listen to me ramble on and on about how hard this game is. You want to see some reviewing. So, let's get to that now. First off, let's take a look at the menu. The menu has quite a bit of options here. The options are New Life, Old Memories, Give Up, which is, my personal favorite, Language Select, Change Special, and the Operation Guide. Let me just summarize them up here. New Life, Old Memories, and Give Up are essentially the same as New Game, Load Game, and Exit respectively. Language Select is self-explanatory, where you can change your language to many different languages. You'll just stick with English because it's the only one I speak. Change Special downloads the quote-unquote special edition that doesn't even have the full game, and all it is just updated graphics and less space on your hard drive. Finally, the Operation Guide is just a what the fuck are the controls option. Since I have nothing better to do in my pathetic, wasteful life, I'll just select New Life. Right away, we get a warning screen that tells us that the events that happen in the game are not real. I love how it says, this game is not to any person. That typo cracks me up. Okay, moving on from that screen, we get a screen that tells us that the developers will not give us any hints to progress through the game, and tells us that we need to find clues ourselves. Well, fuck you, I'm using a walkthrough. After that screen, we get a choice between easy and normal. I heard that easy mode, while easier, doesn't have the full game, so I'll pick normal mode just so I can experience the whole thing. Yes, normal mode is harder, but I'm not a pussy. Next up we have, holy shit, 99 fucking save files! That's a lot of save files for a furry game. Not even Super Mario Galaxy had this many, and it had 6 save files, which I thought was pushing it. But this game comes in and says, fuck you, you have 99 fucking save files whether you like it or not. Okay, after choosing one of the 99 available save files, we finally get into the game. We see our little main character that has no skin tone with blue eyes, brown hair, and worn out shorts. We hear some sort of alarm sound as a bright light suddenly appears. We spawn inside a capsule of sorts and we take a look at our surroundings. We see we are in a place that looks to be abandoned. Near our capsule, we see some sort of mechanical thing and event. Anyway, we get some internal monologue here that has adjectives on par with fanfictions. After that, we can finally move around. Let's bounce out of this place and head through the door. Oh, wait. It's locked. Okay, so now we have to look for a key or something, and I did a thing where I interacted with this vent in the corner or something. I don't fucking know. So after interacting with that vent that I thought had nothing in it, I walked away to see if there was anything else that I may have missed. But then, holy shit, a small milk blob came out of the fucking vent. It headed towards me, but thanks to either luck or game design, it slid down this vent on the floor like a noob. Well, I have no idea what the hell that thing was, so it must have been a sentient latex monster. The vent it came out of was now open, and we can see that inside there's a button. After pushing the button, we hear an unlocking sound on the door. Awesome, we can finally play the goddamn game. Okay, after heading out of the door, we are in another room with 4 doors next to our door. There are some boxes on the floor, but that's okay. We can go outside on the balcony to look at a fallen kingdom. Oh look, a save block. We will use this to our advantage. It kind of looks like a weird Walkman, but whatever, it's a save block. After saving, let's examine the room a little bit. I saw this note on the wall that said that the password is written on the floor using big tiles. We look at the floor and sure enough, there's a combination. 71421. Let's use this to our advantage and unlock the door. So, we input the password and then a furry appears and transfers me on this attempt. How the fuck did I die here? This is literally one of the easiest parts of the game. Okay, but pretend you didn't hear that I got transferred, alright? Okay, so we enter the password, avoid the furry, and head through the door. Also, this blob appears, but honestly, imagine getting transferred by that. After heading through the door, we get to the infamous cat room. This is a huge difficulty spike. Only 20% of players made it past this fucking room. Many players of the game will know the frustration of the cat room. Who thought making this fucking cat one of the hardest areas in the entire game? And one more thing, it is at the very beginning of the game, which means many players will get stuck on this for a while. This room is just plain torture. You'd rather be in hell than play any more of this shit. And I can easily say that this is one of the worst rooms in the entire game. But what do you have to do, you may wonder? And I'll tell you what to do, and it might still take you a few dozen tries. Okay, so after saving, you move these boxes and then you get here where I think some water wakes the cat up. Well, at least that's realistic. I mean, cats literally get woken up from a gust of wind sometimes. But now the music kicks in and now you need to run. Every few seconds, the cat will get tired and stop for about a second or two. What you need to try and do is juke the cat, run all the way to the end of the room, move the boxes, and exit through the door. All without getting caught. Much easier said than done. You need to try and trap the cat somewhere and run across. Now, I don't want to spend too much time on this room, so I'll leave it at, fuck this room. It will take you a while, but eventually you will get past it. After heading through the door at the end, we get some more self-dialogue before getting the chance to save. Okay, after saving, we advance for, what? Oh god! Okay, after getting through whatever the hell that was, we get into the next room, which is, a bit dark. We can look at these pictures on the wall. Just some pictures of some random shit that doesn't matter at all. After that, we get a view of the outside world through a window. It actually looks pretty good. Advancing after that are more photos and a note that we can't read due to the darkness. Let's go through the door to the next room, shall we? Ooh, that gives me chills. Now, we are in a room with a colored Roomba going around. We see a save block, so I'll just save and listen. There's an ambient song coming on. I sense latex monsters, and latex monsters there are, as when we enter through this door, BAM! It's a dark latex monster. There is a certain mechanic in place here. You see that light? It flickers on and off every few seconds. We can move when it's dark, but we can't move when it's on. This is because the dark latex guys, apparently they can't see us, even with the lights on. Like, lights off I can understand, but lights on? What? It makes no sense. Like, I have no idea why, okay? But, here's the thing, if you sprint at any time, your ass is dead. Just saying. I have no idea why they can't see you when the light's on, even if they're right in front of you. Like, no, even if you are right in front of them, they will not see you. I have no idea why. This is honestly a really cool mechanic that I haven't actually seen in many games. Now, we can't sprint here or else the furries will transfer you. Now, I already mentioned that. Sorry, I added a bit to my script, sorry. But anyway, I believe at this point it's obvious what they're gonna do to you, you know? So anyway, we navigate through this room until we get here, when suddenly the music gets more tense and is louder. Now, this is some serious shit. So now, the black latex monster is moving a pattern. Watch their movements closely to memorize the pattern and assert dominance on those fuckers. Oh yeah, there's also a save block here. Make sure you save before continuing. Okay, I'm starting to sound like a walkthrough. Sorry. The next room is way harder than the other two. The first part is simple enough though, but the second part is where things get a bit tricky. To summarize the part up, you just have to fucking book it, okay? When we get to the next room, we see a save block here. Okay, I'll stop talking about the save blocks, I promise. When we head downstairs, we get another one of these encounters. Same shit, spam the space bar. The next room is honestly pretty cool. You see those monsters? They are moving. But when you move, they move. According to this weird dialogue, these monsters actually feel like playing with us instead of transferring us. So, that's cool. We have to move slowly through by pressing the movement keys instead of holding them down. These ice tiles slide us across, which is pretty handy in some parts. These rooms each have a set difficulty that isn't easy but isn't difficult. I'm honestly impressed by how the developers managed to perfect the difficulty. The following rooms, there isn't really that much to say about them, except for this bit where these guys travel faster and cover more ground than the other furries, but I never got to see their transfer animation since I got past this on my first try. The room after that is our first boss. I'll just call him the Crystal Dragon. Yes, he is a he. It says he when you get close to him. The main gimmick of this boss battle is that every couple of steps you take, these small ass crystals appear. Now they don't pop out of the ground yet, they just stay there until you take another step. Step into the long tile and you will become the Crystal Dragon's son? Okay, that's a bit weird. It doesn't matter that much anyway when we get close to him. A little cutscene happens where the Crystal Dragon closes his eyes and then nods a couple times. What the fuck? Anyway, he does that, and these crystals disappear. We can enter that, and then we just advance through the room until we get slower and slower and slower until we pass out in front of these dark latex monsters. Anyway, some more internal monologue appears, and we wake up in a place that has a big tree in the middle, and some oranges. Ooh, let's eat them. Yeah, let's eat them, and ignore the fact that there are dark latex liquid stuff on it. Yeah! So anyway, we eat them, a cutscene happens, and we are refreshed. Cool. On the wall, we can see some sort of module, and it requires a password. Okay, so, where is the password? Is it down here? Oh, what the hell? Oh, look, it's a Raven. Better not touch it. Okay, we made it through that. Now, what's in here? Oh, it's a poster of the moon. We also see a little password machine. Hopefully that won't be too important later. Alright, wait, what does this note say? White moon, rotate 90 degrees. Well, I see a moon right here, so 90 degrees? Okay, let's do that. Whoa! 3002. Is that the code? Let's go back and avoid that Raven, you know? Okay, that worked. In the next room, we start to hear some music. I can see some dark spotlight things and gloops of white latex, so let's avoid them before things get weird. What the fuck? Okay, so after a few attempts, I figured this out. So this thing that looks like a giant fuzzball, right? So apparently you are supposed to exit through the door and hide behind this tree back here. Now, how the hell was I supposed to know that beforehand? So anyway, you exit the door and this thing chases you. So you just go back to the big tree room and hide behind the tree. Okay then, let's go back into the hallway. So now it's harder with all sorts of random shadow spotlights and shit, but we can make it through alright. What happens next through this door though will forever change the way I think of this game. So we enter the door, the music gets louder, and we can hear some page turning going on. We head upwards without that fuzzball pestering us, and we see who the hell is turning those damn pages. What the fuck? Please do not be afraid of me. Bitch, you are a latex monster, of course I'm gonna be afraid of you. Alright, so a talking latex monster. Cool. So apparently this guy has a name. Does that mean he won't transfer me? Okay, so this is Puro. Puro is a latex monster that is peaceful? How on earth is that possible? Oh, that's why. So apparently Puro's story is pretty interesting. He says that if he had a gender, he would be male. Anyway, Puro tells us that the reason why he can talk and that he's peaceful and shit is because he stumbled upon the library and learned all about human history and became obsessed with it, unlike me. So anyway, we need the password for that other room. We ask Puro for it, and he says that the password is 11100033, and tells us not to forget. Well, guess what? I'm gonna write it down like a smart boy. Okay then, so let's head back to that other room and enter the password. Alright, cool, so now we enter the room and advance forwards. But hold on a second folks, because the door on the other side is covered with latex. Oh well, there goes that idea. Okay then, let's go back in for wait, whoa, no! The fuzzball is chasing us again. But hey, at least we never have to see it again after this. So we just go around this and exit through the door and we were just in. Phew. So we just head down. Oh my god, another one of these. Are you kidding me? Oh my god, I'm really getting tired of those. Alright, let's go out the door, avoid the Raven, and head back inside. I think we should talk to Puro about this shit, so, let's do that first before, we all fucking die. He tells us that we should either try again or look for another way. Well, there are two doors in this room that we haven't checked. The door on the left leads to a small room with a sleeping fox. I can see a vent over there, so let's investigate it. Oh wow, another sleeping fox. We can't go this way due to the latex on the floor, so let's go out and investigate the other room to see if we can find anything. Oh look, a save block, but it looks a bit crooked, so let's not touch it. There isn't much in this room other than the save block and this small puddle of latex that doesn't transfer you. It just makes a little sound. I think I'll play around with this latex. Hopefully nothing bad will happen. Oh boy, the sleeping fox in the vent just woke the fuck up and is coming at me. I'm dipping. Okay. Whew, I think I'm safe now. What happens if I go back into the room? Oh, okay, the fox is back asleep. I did not know foxes could sleep that fast, but okay. It doesn't matter much anyway, since this poster that the fox came out of has a hole that we can go in. So let's enter through the vent, and we got some dripping water here. We can see 3 exits here. One on the left, one ahead, and one on the right. Let's enter the door on the left, as it's really the only one we can enter. As soon as we go through the door, we see Puro right here in another room. He tells us to come into his home. Okay then, so we just enter his place and he just spews some random mumbo jumbo or something like that, and asks us if we want to sit down. So we sit down on this beanbag, and now we get some exposition. Puro basically tells us that he never thought humans were like the way we are. He also says that he has no host, which means he will die soon. Jesus fucking Christ, this shit has gone to the depressing territory. The dude even cries. Okay, that's enough of that. He should take some antidepressants. So there's some more boxes here that we can move. We just push this box until it fills this hole. Now we push some more boxes and go out this exit. Now we are back in that crossroom, but this time we are up top. We push this box down and into this other hole. Let's go through. There are some more boxes here. The placements aren't easy to figure out, but it's nothing I can't handle. After that, we get a little jump scare when the vent suddenly opens, but there's nothing in it, like nothing comes out. On the wall, we see a poster that looks to be a map containing a secret room, but when we go back, boom! Another one of these QuickTime events. I'm really getting sick of them now. I'll spoil the secret for you all right now. The secret room is right here on the right side of Puro's home. It opens to another room with a suspicious safe block. Heading downwards, the hallway gets darker and darker until we get tunnel vision in the next room. And some really totally not creepy music plays. Yeah, I have no idea why. Here in this room, we have to push another box over to this hole here. And also, fun fact, the audio in my footage corrupted here. Take a listen. I sure love corrupted audio. Anyway, we hear a gloop sound in the distance. That doesn't sound good. Let's head downwards. So now we have to go follow a very specific direction or else, we die. I won't show you the way so you guys can figure it out yourself. Along the way, we get a sheet that says right, up, left, down. That might be important. So we head downwards, we go this way, and then we trip. Okay then, but that's the least of our concerns. Now, something's chasing us. The only thing I can say about this is fucking run and move the boxes. After exiting through the door, let's go to this other room here. All of a sudden, someone begins talking to us through the vent. The person cheers us and congratulates us for running away. Who the fuck is this guy? Oh, it's Puro. And then a fucking heart appears above our character. What the fuck is happening? But that's not important right now. What is important is getting out of this room. So we just enter the password that is on this wall here. Now, remember that sheet from earlier? Now we're going to follow it by pressing the keys respectively. Nice. Let's exit and head downwards. But then the furry from earlier is now through the door and chasing us. Let's just wrap around the hallway and through this door. And then we get another fucking QuickTime event. The next room is a ventilation room where if you stand anywhere but the place is getting air, you will turn into a furry. The room is pretty easy if you know what to do. The next room is the same, but this time there's a dark latex pup that will be there and he will slow you down. I'd recommend watching out for him. In the next room, it looks like we are good, but then the pup comes in and I think this is the end of our days. But that thought is incorrect as Puro comes in and shoos the pup away. Obviously, I'm going to thank him for this. He then explains that we didn't need to, and apparently he is moved, or whatever the hell that means. The next bit is the motherest of fucks, the shark room. This is literally RNG based. So the sharks are a bit random. In water, you move a lot slower than you do on land. It's pretty much required that you hold the shift key for the entirety of the time that you are in water. My tips for dealing with sharks are to pretty much juke them. Bait them into a corner and just fucking book it until you reach a safe platform. You'll also have to turn on some generators, but I'll just speed up the footage up since it did take a while, and plus I went AFK at this one bit for like 10 minutes, so yeah. Down in this room, we turn this generator on and head upwards. Then, the second boss of the game appears. Apparently he's called a tiger shark because of his stripes on his fin and his scales. Obviously named after a tiger shark, but actual tiger sharks don't have stripes. But what's the gimmick of this boss battle? Well, when he's swimming after you, he's harder to juke since his AI is smarter than regular sharks, and he is faster than normal sharks. I think he's the same speed as you when you're sprinting, so better watch out for that. He stays in the swimming state for a bit before standing in the center and roaring, but his roar isn't enthusiastic at all for some reason. After the war, waves of sharks will come at you, but it's a pattern and you just stay in specific spots. There are 3 phases to this boss battle. The first one is just the tiger shark chasing you for about 10 seconds. The second phase is the same, but a normal shark also chases after you, and the time of the chase is longer. The third and final phase has 2 sharks instead of 1, and the timer is again longer. After the tiger shark roars 3 times, you can safely run out of the water up top and exit through the door. This battle took me quite a bit of tries, but I managed to do it eventually. After exiting the room, Puro is asleep since, we did take a while. We wake him up and choose to wait by him. But then we get a weird as fuck cutscene where we cuddle next to his tail and then touch his ears a few times. How the hell has Puro not transferred us yet? Ugh, whatever. We go on ahead to the next room where we have to do more shark baiting, and in the next room we get another boss battle. This time it's a giant squid thing who's petting the tiger shark from earlier or whatever. I have no fucking idea why this game has so much weird stuff, so I'll just tell you what to do here. You need to get the squid's tentacles to attack itself. There are 4 tentacles and it may seem hard, but it's actually easier than a tiger shark. After getting the squid to attack itself 4 times like a fucking idiot, it disappears and we can move on. The next room has a bunch of swimming cat things. Now, I know they're squids, but they look like swimming cat things, okay? They are harder to get past since, they can actually charge forwards and no-scope your ass if you aren't careful. With careful plotting, you can get past. After getting past, you are in a dark room with a large generator. On this side, someone wrote a note intended for maintenance. The code for the generator is 1234. After turning the generator on, we interact with the screen that tells us that the building has been running on internal power for 5 years. We have been in that capsule for 5 years. Apparently we can't take it in, but we force ourselves to move on, just like life. In the next room, Puro comes in and says that he wanted to say something for a while. Now, if you were playing on easy mode or you're being a fucking dick to Puro, he would kill your ass right now, ending the game. Luckily, I wasn't playing on easy, nor was I being a dick to him, so he says that he would like to accompany us on our journey to the outside world. After talking for a bit, he says, "Follow me." He proceeds to do some movement and fucking leaps across like a 3-block gap, like, holy shit, like, he just Mario 64 long jumped. Oh my god. And then moves some boxes so he can get through. Exiting through the door, we are on a balcony. Pretty nice air, but that's not important. And Puro says that near here is the land of the white latex. He's being a big pussy about it though, but we venture into the land because we are not a pussy by entering this door. Puro follows, and the whole room is just white. After walking forward a bit, a wall suddenly appears, separating both Puro and us. A few white latex monsters come after us for a few seconds before melting into liquid or something. Walking forward more, we'll have more monsters chase after us and weird latex spikes emerge from the ground that we have to dodge. This part is just annoying. Walking a bit more triggers more monsters, and walking even further will have the last wave. Through the door, we can activate the door on the left. After activating the door, Puro waits for us outside the door we just entered and says that he couldn't help due to the wall. We walk back to the exit with him, he thanks us for waiting for him, and we head out through the door. Going through the door on the left now, Puro says that he wants to do something for us, so he charges the monsters head on as a distraction. It works, and we can safely cross. Going out the door, we try to enter another door, but some weird humanoid lion comes out, and Puro yells at us, saying, "One for your life." So he won for our lives through the door. The lion roars more enthusiastically than the tiger shark, which triggers the white latex guys to come out and try to get us. Luckily, after a couple tries, they didn't get us. We exit through the door on the right and hide in this locker. The lion then proceeds to check the left locker and almost checks the right one before we literally smash it against the other locker with the door. We head back the way we came, with Puro being extremely thankful we survived. He even hugs us with a cutscene, whatever. He then says that he wants to protect us, and he doesn't want to lose us. After following him outside, we thank him for doing what he did. He says thank you back, and we head through the door on the left. Then we meet a masked latex monster who can talk. He says that he has trapped us and we can't get out. We try to get out, but the door is locked. Plus, Pro is outside yelling at the door to let him in. The masked guy gasses us, and we wake up in a cell. The masked guy then says that he's going to quote-unquote deal with Pro. What the fuck? He can't harm him, so we gotta bust out of here. We'll use this Roomba at the bottom to push these buttons to get out. The Roomba follows us, so we have to make a series of puzzles solving to escape. I won't go into detail on the puzzles since the video is, already long enough as it is, so I'll just skip it. After heading out through the middle door, we run back to the left door that we entered a bit ago, and we see Poro and the masked guy on the floor, and both are unconscious. We sit by Poro with our hands on our cheeks, and then we put our hands on Poro's cheeks. Now, we say we are sorry, but then Poro says sorry for what? We drop him in surprise, and he rudely comments on that. He says that he managed to bust in, but the masked guy swiped at his mask, and then he slipped on latex and banged his head against the lockers. Damn. What a way to go out. So anyway, Poro gets up, we hug him, and we advance forwards. Now, the next part of the game is very straightforward, but of course we get the classic quick time event. But luckily, this is the last one, and Poro helps us out on this one for some reason. Now, the part ahead is very easy, like, literally easy. Even a toddler with dementia could do this bit. You just go left until you come to some ladders, you head down, and then you go to the right until you get stuck. Here, you'll need a password. Now, the password requires a bit of problem solving. It took me a while, but, I managed to do it. After that, we are basically in the endgame now. Poro says that he can smell white latex, so we are near another white latex land apparently. Advancing forwards will bring us into the land where a bunch of white latex monsters circle us. We have to use Poro to fling ourselves to the other side of the room. In the next room, we have to use him again, but this time it's a bit harder. After clearing that, Poro says that we were a bit heavy. But there's no time for jokes right now. We go to advance through the, get this, final area of the game. The dark latex land. Almost the entirety of the place is slippery. We have to take a very specific path or else we will collide with a crystal and die. After reaching the end of the first room, Poro says that we are unlucky to not have padding on our feet. The next room is different. This time, the slippery tiles are purple. What this means is that when we go over them, spikes appear which limits our movement. Again, we take a very specific path to reach the halfway point, and then try to cross the second part before getting purposely stuck by the game. Wow. Poro comes to help us and says that he enjoyed us doing it on our own, but obviously we needed help here. In the next and final room, we have to continuously run as there are tiny crystals that shoot up our ass when we walk over them. Just take the direct path and you'll be good. And speaking of good, the game is almost over. After exiting the dark latex land, we can finally enter the lobby. Apparently, Poro has always dreamt of walking outside on his own paws, and that this is apparently a good change for both of us. But hey, he congratulates us for keeping our human body a human body. Let's exit this hellhole and carry on with our lives, but not before the masked guy from earlier comes in. He says that he can no longer stop us from escaping, so that's good, fuck this place. But wait, there's a twist. The guy just wants to talk to us for a bit. So apparently, the reason why the masked guy trapped us is because the cure for the virus was finalized for the elites, and apparently we might have a strand of that virus, and that would result in global extinction instead of maybe 1,000 people surviving. He persuades us into making a choice. We can either stay or we can leave. But I can't make choices. I have decided phobia. You may not have noticed, but there is a button we haven't used yet. That button is the escape key. So what happens if we press it? So we press the escape key and the masked guy says that it is a hard choice. He then suggests that he can just insert the same vaccine he inserted into himself into us. The side effect is that we will be transferred, but we won't be rabid or horny, and we get to keep all our old memories. Poro basically tells us that we shouldn't trust him, but I don't really give a fuck anymore, so we accept the masked guy's suggestion, and we are brought into his lab or whatever, and we lay down on that seat I can't remember the name of. We can't see anything, and by we, I mean us, the viewer, but the dialogue tries to illustrate what's happening. Poro watches over us, still probably suspicious of the masked guy, and we look at Poro. I literally have no idea what the fuck is going on anymore. We fall asleep, then our dream, or nightmare, involves us being chased by a white masked guy. We hide, but then he finds us, and then, without warning, rips our fucking trousers off, and some questionable dialogue appears. But anyway, we wake up from the dream and we see a shadowy figure over us. We originally think that the monster from the dream followed us into the real world, but as our eyes focus on what is in front of us, we see that the figure is actually Pro who is hovering over us. He apparently says that we are a sleepyhead and that we slept for days. Then some stuff happens, like we feel a tail under our ass. Pro tells us to look at our new body. It's very fluffy apparently. Then Pro says that we look cute. He asks us if we have forgotten anything or if we have weird impulses. We answer with a not at all. The masked guy comes in and says that we have no allergies nor mutations and that we are lucky. Now that the whole thing is complete, we can finally leave this place. So we hop off that chair, we collapse since we are not used to our built-in fursuit. Pro and the masked guy have a chuckle and so do us. We say goodbye to the masked guy and we walk out of the building with nothing in our way. We have done it. We have finished the game. More dialogue happens, which is just a sentimental moment between us and Pro. The game ends with us and Pro sitting on a walk, looking at the sunset as the camera pans up into the sky and fades to black. Then, we are in a new room that is black. We head downwards and we see all the latex monsters that we have encountered along the way, from the White Knight all the way to the dark latex crystals. We can see all the transfer animations without any consequences. After heading down a bit, we reach the credits of the game with a big The End sign. At the bottom, we see two foxes sleeping on a red carpet. These foxes are actually the developers of the game. The white one is Dragonsnow and the red one is Sheezy. Sheezy handled the music for the game while Dragonsnow developed the main game into what it is. We can save our game here, which permanently has this save file out of 99 completed. So is that the end? Well, no. We still have to take a look at the other endings. You know that choice we had to make a bit ago? Well, let's take a look at what happens if we choose them. Choosing to stay will pretty much break Pro's heart, as we have been with him for half of the game. Eventually he parts us, as the masked guy probably puts us back in our capsule. Choosing to leave will disappoint the masked guy, but he says that it is our choice and we head outside of Pro. We then feel sick and Pro arrests us on a walk. The game ends with us succumbing to that disease and dying. Yeah, both of them suck hard, but they aren't as bad as the other bad endings. The other bad endings are endings that happen before the end of the game. The first bad ending occurs when you either play on easy mode or you don't talk to Pro enough. This causes him to transfer you. The second bad ending is similar. If you don't wait for Pro in the white latex section and you don't thank him after the line section, his mask will be sliced in half when you go back to the mask guy room, which means that he dead. Yeah, those are the only other bad endings in the game. Yeah, that's it. Other than that, there's not really much else to say, so... Now that I have covered the entire game, it's on to the final part of this video. This part will be very short, so what do I think of Change? Well, it had some rough spots in it, but the rest of the game was honestly better than I was expecting. Now, don't get me wrong, it's still a very weird and kinky furry game, but the game's story kind of makes sense. The characters actually make sense, the setting makes sense, everything just clicks. And that is very odd to see from a furry game. Did I like it? Honestly, I actually enjoyed playing through quite a bit. The puzzle rooms actually made me use my 10 IQ brain and I solved them all by myself. It really is a pretty good game. Now, some of the rooms were very frustrating. Some were just over the top in terms of difficulty. Cat room. But if you don't focus on those bad apples, the game is actually a pretty good game. So, what's my final rating? Well, let's look at the pros and cons. Pros about Changed is the setting, the story, and even the characters. It all blends really well with each other. The puzzle rooms are challenging, but fun, and the hard bits are few and far between. The cons of the game are the unfair difficulty curves in certain parts of the game. Rooms like the cat room are a clear example of it. It really bugged me out. Another thing I dislike about the game is that it's a bit on the short side, and when you complete the game, there isn't actually much else to do other than play through the game again. But these are really the only cons that I can think of. Oh, I almost forgot. This is a huge problem that I cannot blame the game for since it's an engine bug. The issue lies with movement. You cannot go diagonally. And what's worse is that if you're already going in one direction and you press a different movement button while moving, you don't actually go in that direction. Well, sometimes you can, but other times you can't. This issue has killed me 1,000 times, and it is horrible. Now, this is an issue that is with RPG Maker VX, which is the engine that Changed uses, and it isn't great. This is a really terrible issue, but that's really the only major flaw that the game has, and it's actually not really a flaw with the game, it's more of a flaw of the engine, so yeah. But anyway, let's tally up the points. I give the game a solid 7 out of 10 for its game design, story, and setting. The points deducted were from the difficulty curves being too severe, and yeah, that's basically it. So, that is all for the review on Changed. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, that's okay. If you did, that's okay. But yeah, Changed is a pretty... yeah, it was better than I was expecting, honestly. I thought it was going to be really bad. But even if it was going to be bad, it's better than a lot of games I've been playing recently, okay? It's better than a lot of Roblox games, okay? So, yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. If this video does well enough, I'll do another review. Who knows? Until then, it has been Renewings talking to you. Peace.